one of the things you're very passionate about is artificial intelligence and how to handle it. Wednesday, the Prime Minister will deliver a pretty significant speech on potentially some guardrails it might look like on AI. Do we need guardrails on AI in Australia?
It's really important for AI to maintain its social licence, that it must be fair, it must be safe, and it must be trustworthy. Now, Australians do not want to be enfeebled by AI, they don't want to be replaced by AI, and they certainly don't want to be ripped off. I have had, let's take the creative industries, for example, because copyright is very topical right now. I've had no shortage of people, stakeholders from the creative industries who have come through my office making the case, pleading the case to have their creative outputs protected. And I think it's easy to do it with large license holders. So we've just seen, for example, Microsoft sign a deal with Nine Entertainment, for example. Great, big tick. But what about the smaller players, the small copyright holders, whether they be authors or music producers and so on? There is an opportunity here to do something innovative, to create, for example, micropayment systems, where when an AI model is run, it can backtrace to the source data and clip a ticket, and that person could actually be paid. Now, this is not beyond the realm of possibility. In fact, some discussions I've had with other stakeholders who are experts in AI are actually considering payment systems like this. Now, these companies have the deepest pockets out of any enterprise in the world. They can figure this out. I'm pretty sure they can figure this out. So my concern is not really their share market float that is going to make them all trillionaires. We know that. My concern is in protecting the national interest and protecting the rights and values of Australians. And that means that for AI to maintain its social licence, it must be fair, it must be safe, and it must be trustworthy.
And do you need legislation? Does Labor need to lead in a legislative agenda to make this happen?
I'm not against regulation. In fact, I don't buy this notion that you can't innovate with regulation and guardrails or rules of engagement around AI. In fact, when you look at some of our life-saving medicines, they are created in a highly regulated environment. So you can absolutely innovate within regulation. And I think that what we're sensing around the world and even in Australia, and it's making people very uncomfortable, is this race. You know, there's a sense that there's an urgency, an AI race, and it feels like we are being swept along with no agency here. In fact, this AI tsunami needs to break on some hard rocks of regulation. And I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily to introduce a little bit of friction to slow this whole thing down.
So you think it should be slowed?
I do.
Why?
I think it needs to be slowed for that very reason that this is, we sense, right, as this is happening to us rather than us having agency. And for us to actually now exert some control over this thing, then introduce some friction. Actually go back to these companies and say, this is my personal belief, our copyright laws are just fine, thank you very much. You go away and come up with some creative ideas on how we can create payment systems for those small copyright
It's interesting you say that, because Jim Chalmers is reportedly in these talks clarifying local laws, Anthropic putting $15 billion on the table. Should he be playing hardball?
Well, I'm not sure what's going on here, whether Anthropic are trying to play hardball with us. Now, I'm not open to that idea. Again,
should we be playing hardball?
We should absolutely be holding on to our values as Australians, and we value our creatives. Absolutely we do. And honestly, for AI to be here for the long term, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the track, it needs to be sustainable, and that means it must maintain its social licence. So those principles of safety, of trustworthiness, and of fairness are not nice-to-haves. They are needed for AI to be sustainable into the long term.
Senator, your thoughts are very interesting, and I know lots of people are very engaged in this at the moment. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.